محمد وعلى آل سيدنا ومولانا محمد وبارك وسلم. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم. Continuing in Bab al-Sabr of Riadul Saleheen, because again in Riadul Saleheen the chapter of Sabr, steadfastness, this is the longest chapter in the book. Why? Because life is full of headaches, life is full of situations where you're going to be tested, right? You're going to be tested with happiness, you're going to be tested with sadness. وَنَبْلُوكُمْ بِالشَّرِّ وَالْخَيْرِ فِتْنَةً. You'll be tested with good, you'll be tested with bad, you'll be tested with sorrow, you'll be tested with joy. And in all of these situations, a connection to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala must be displayed, and a steadfastness upon obedience to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala must be maintained. And remember, we said the best definition of sabr would be steadfastness rather than just patience. We've spoken about many different aspects of it. Well, the ahadith are mentioning different aspects and different displays of sabr from Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam and from the Sahaba radiyallahu ta'ala an. So last week we spoke about Anas radiyallahu anha's mother. What was her name? Who remembers? Anas Sulaim. And what was her actual name? Sulaim was the kunya. What was her actual name? Rumaysa or Ghumaysa? There's different opinion. And what was his stepfather's name? Yeah, Abu Talha radiyallahu anhu. Those are things we should remember. So now coming to the next hadith. So inshallah, the hadiths are short, so we might be able to do 2-3 this week. Inshallah, we'll see. وعن أبي هريرة رضي الله عنه أن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم قال ليس الشديد بالسرعة. That the strong person, shadid is very strong person, bisur'ah, it's not the one who's a great wrestler, the strong person, okay? Sur'ah, Imam Nawawi, he explains at the end, وَالسُّرَعَةُ بِضَمِّ الصَّادِ وَفَتْحِ الرَّاءِ وَأَصْلُهُ عِنْدَ الْعَرَبِ مَنْ يَسْرَعُ النَّاسَ كَثِيرًا. It's like a wrestler, okay? إِنَّمَا الشَّدِيدُ الَّذِي يَمْلِكُ نَفْسَهُ عِنْدَ الْغَضَبِ. So Rasulullah says the strong person is not the wrestler, not the pelwan, not the one who can body slam anybody who comes to them. Rather, the strong person in the eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one who controls their nafs, controls themselves at the time of anger. Muttafaqun alayh. So this is something that's very important. It's something that's difficult to do for everybody. Everybody gets angry at times. And to control the anger, that's a display of a person's strength, because usually when a person is angry, they are knocked off of their balance. So then they'll do things that they usually won't do. They'll act out of character. And at that moment, they're not thinking because their blood is pumping, right? And anger, what is it always associated with? Passion. And passion is associated with fire. Because people say the fire of passion, or his passion is burning, right? And who is made of fire? Iblis, right? So Iblis is associated with this emotion of passion, right? And of anger as well. And so if a person wants to combat it, we have to become an insan. Okay? And insan, what are we made of? Insan is made of? Initially, clay, right? Clay and water together. Well, clay is cool, water is cool, but clay as well. So now look at these elements that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made us from, and kind of showed us the realities of. Iblis is made of fire. Fire is associated with passion. Passion is associated with anger, and fire in and of itself, it's two things, right? Fire, it's unstable. It doesn't stay in one place. It's unstable. Number two, it's destructive, right? That's what fire is. And that's what anger will do to a person. Human being is made from clay. Clay, it's associated with humility. It's something that's simple. It's something that's moldable, meaning that you could mold it into a good shape. If you work on it, it can be molded into a good shape, but over time it firms. So if you make it into a good shape, you take clay and you put it into a good shape, then it'll become firm on that shape and it won't break after that. And that's how a human being can be. That if we mold ourselves to display the character of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, And then over time, we'll become firm on that. Okay? So it is something that's very difficult for us to do, but we all have to do it. This is something that shows our strength. You know, there's a imam in this area, senior imam. He called me the other day, last week, and he said, like, there's a case, right? This divorce case. He said that husband got mad at the wife, and he said, talaq, 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 3 times. So he asked me, what do you think about this situation? He explained to me the whole background. What's your opinion on the matter? I said, you know, in this situation, based on everything you said, I don't think that it counts as 3 talaq. I think it counts as 1 talaq. Okay? And this is not like a general rule. There's so many different things to it. But I told him, I was like, you know, whatever his name was, Sheikh, I was like, why don't you just tell this person? When you're upset, right? I was like, we should say it at wedding. You're going to fight when you get married. Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam fought with his wives. That's natural. But why say this word? Use any other word, even if you curse at them. That's not the right thing to do. Even if you curse at them, you're not going to be in a situation like this. Make this one word, talaq, haram on you, at a time of anger. He said, no, it doesn't work like that. He said, because when a person, they want to show how tough they are, they want to show that they're this shadid and surah, so they use this word. He said, look, I don't care. This is how strong I am. Talaq, talaq, talaq. And then he said this hadith. He said, yeah, what I told this guy, but I told him, yeah, you could tell him it counts as 1, but make him feel a little bit bad about it too. He said, like, why did you do this? Don't do this. He's like, yeah, I told him, you think you're so tough and this and that, now you're crying in front of me. You said this word because you wanted to be a-shadid. But laysa shadid bis-sur'a, innama shadid alladhi yamliku nafsahu inda al-ghadab. The strong one is the one who controls their anger at the time, or controls themselves at the time of anger. Muttafaqun alayh, Imam Bukhari, Imam Muslim, they narrate this hadith. Next, وعن سليمان بن سرد رضي الله عنه. Sulaiman bin Surad, he was a person, before he became Muslim, his name was Yasar. And when he became Muslim, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, he changed his name to Sulaiman. He lived in Kufa and he was killed in one of the battles in Kufa. And he narrates 15 ahadith from Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam. He says, قال كنت جالسا مع النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم. I was sitting with Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam. ورجلان يستباني. 2 men, they were arguing, and it got to the point that they were cursing at one another, right? This is something we have to realize about the Sahaba radiallahu ta'ala anhu. They are human beings. And this is something that we should take inspiration from. You know, sometimes when we, maybe, you hear anything, or we read Fadail Amal, it's a good book, right? Or Hayatul Sahaba, we read these. And sometimes a person thinks it's like a utopian land with the Sahaba radiallahu anh, everybody loved each other, everything. But it's not the case. They were human beings. They had their arguments, they fight. Some of them, they didn't like each other either. But despite not liking one another, they never took they never removed anybody from the haqq that they had. So for example, Ali radiallahu anh and Aisha radiallahu anh, there was some family issue between them, right? But I was just reading a hadith the other day in which somebody asked Aisha radiallahu anha about a question. She said, there's nobody that knows better than Ali radiallahu anh, so go and ask him. Similarly, Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhuma, once somebody came, the hadith is in Muslim Sharif, they asked him a question. He said, I can't go and ask Aisha radiallahu anha because of something between us. But she knows more than me, go and ask her. And then tell me what she says as well. The highest extent of this is that Hassan bin Sabit radiallahu anh, who was he? The poet of Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam. This hadith is in Bukhari Sharif. When the slander was spread about Aisha radiallahu anha, Munafiqun, they said all sorts of things about him. But there were 3 sincere Sahabas who also got caught up in this propaganda, fake news. And so one of them was Hassan bin Sabit. So he also said Aisha radiallahu anha did this or that. So towards the end of his life, he became blind. So Aisha radiallahu anha, one of her relatives told her that, look, he deserves what he got because he said this about you. She didn't say that, anything positive, like she didn't say anything. If it was me or you, we'll say, yeah, he got what he deserved, right? What she said was, don't say anything bad about him. That's what she said. Because I saw him standing on the mimbar and he was reciting poetry, and Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam made dua for him. Allahumma ayyidhu bi ruhil qudus. Hadith is in Bukhari Sharif, right? So this is something that we should realize. The Sahaba radiallahu anh, they were human beings, and despite having these conflicts, they were able to overcome them due to their love for Allah and His Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam, and channel whatever they had, to channel it towards a positive cause. And whatever conflicts they had, they didn't let it interfere with the goals. And what is the goal? To please Allah, please His Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and spread the message of Islam throughout the world. So now these two Sahaba, they were cursing at one another. Yastabani, that's what the word says. وَأَحَدُهُمَا قَدِحْ مَرَّ وَجْهُهُ. One of them, his face turned red out of anger. Who was this Sahabi? Any idea? Famous Sahabi. Don't say Abu Bakr or Umar, not them. Famous Sahaba from Medina. Any idea? I'll give you another clue. He's the most knowledgeable of halal and haram. Muaz bin Jabal radiallahu. This is Muaz bin Jabal radiallahu. His face became red out of anger. It says over here that his personality was a little bit sharp. That's one other thing that we need to understand. People have different personalities, right? The personality will never change. In Bukhari Sharif, there's another ta'liqan, there's a hadith, in which Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam says, if somebody says that they moved a mountain, believe them. If somebody says that they've changed, meaning their personality, their character has changed, don't believe them. فَلَا تُصَدِّقُوهُ. Because your underlying character is going to remain the same, right? But these qualities are not good or bad. Somebody has like a more sharp person. I have a more sharp personality. That's why, right? Some people, they're more, soft-hearted. Some people are more, more aggressive. Whatever it is, right? These personality traits, they're not good or bad in and of themselves. The way that you channel them, that's what's good or bad. Umar radiallahu anh, after becoming Muslim, did he become a coward after that? No. He was the exact same in terms of personality, but this anger that he had towards Islam, now he channeled it for Islam, right? So this is what we have to realize, that again, none of these personality traits are bad. It's how you channel them and how you control them so that they end up being a positive for you rather than something that's destructive for you. You'll see for many people, the biggest cause of their success, whatever they have inside of them, is also the cause of their biggest failures at times. Okay, so now this is Muaz radiallahu anh, he became upset. فَقَدْ احْمَرَّ وَجْهُهُ وَانْتَفَخَتْ أَوْدَاجُهُ. And his veins were popping. فقال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم, Rasulullah صلى الله عليه وسلم said, إني لأعلم كلمة لو قالها لذهب عنه ما يجد. He said, verily I know a word that if he were to say it, his anger would go away. لو قال أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. If he were to say أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم, ذهب منه ما يجد. That anger that he has, it will dissipate. فقالوا له إن النبي. So people said to him, إن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال تعوذ, seek refuge بالله, with Allah, من الشيطان الرجيم, from the accursed shaitan. متفق عليه. So now we'll close here, but I'll just mention a few principles and then we'll end. And that is what Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam told him here is that when you're angry, read أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. If a person reads this with conviction, right, then their anger will go away. But what Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam gave him here, and he's given other Sahaba and other places, is a temporary solution, a way to make your anger go away temporarily. So now what happens? Okay, you become angry, you say A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will allow you to calm down a little bit. Another solution to this is that change your position. If you're standing, sit down. If you're sitting down, lay down. Right? Another thing that's mentioned in Tirmizi Sharif. In Abu Dawood, it says that if a person is angry, go and make water. The water is cold, it'll cool you down. But these are all temporary solutions, right? How does a person begin to control themselves such that they don't get as angry anymore? Or when they get angry, they don't get to this level. And this we also find the principle in the hadith. And that is that a person reflects upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's power over him, right? When a person thinks about that look, who am I getting mad? I'm getting mad at my children, my wife, my siblings. But how much has Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala given me? Allah's given me more than I've ever given them. Yet I disobey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't send rocks from the sky to pelt me. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't send angels to curse at me and yell at me every time I make a mistake or every 100 times I make a mistake. Right? When a person thinks about this again and again, then eventually, not in one day, not in 2 days, but in a month, 2 months, 3 months, their personality or that this anger within them will soften a bit. They'll still have it, but the edge will come off of it a little bit. And this we learn from the hadith in which Abu Mas'ud Ansari, not Abdullah bin Mas'ud, Abu Mas'ud al-Ansari, he was beating a slave. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he saw him And he stopped him and he told Abu Mas'ud, Lallahu aqdaru alayka minka, that Allah has more power over you than you have over this slave. So then he calmed down a bit and he said, I free this slave. And then Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he said, if you didn't free him, then to Abu Mas'ud radiallahu anh, he said that the fire of Jahannam would have grabbed you. Right? So this is something, if we want to let this anger go away, reflect upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's greatness, His power, His qudra, and how much He has over us, yet He holds back. So we should also try to extend this. And again, it's difficult. And again, I'm not saying like, I'm giving all the answers. This is the guidance of Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. All of us have to implement it in our life. Jazakallah khairan. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Thank you.